Hello everybody, Iain Robson here for another Courseplay tutorial. Today I'm showing you how to fertilize your field using slurry. And it would be the same principle, I suppose, for dry fertilizer. I'll show you both. So what I've got here is I got the Garant slurry tanker here. So what you can do, what you need to do in order to at least prepare half of the course. So what you need to do is you need to grab your field outline like so. And then you need to set your working width. So in this case, I believe this particular implement is about 19 meters wide. Let's just set it to 18. So set it to 18 meters wide. You want to set the direction as southwest. So in this case, I'm on the southwest corner of the field. I want to head it north, which is up. And I want it to do a headland? No. So a headland, once again, is going around the outside of the field before or after. And again, if you set it to return to the first point, what will happen is it will spray fertilizer coming all the way back to the starting point. So generally you don't want to do that because you end up wasting slurry specifically. So what you do is you generate the course. So that is the fertilizing course only. Now if I were to go grab some fertilizer, in this case if I go grab some slurry right now and I set him on his way, what's going to happen is he's going to run out of slurry, which is bad because he's not going to finish the field in that scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of slurry right here from my pig facility, and I'm only going to grab 1,000 liters, and I'm going to show you what happens when it runs out of slurry. So this is the reason why there's a second part to this. So you grab the slurry. In this case it's a big field, so I will need probably to refill. If it's a smaller field you can do it without it. But in this case, it is a big field, so I want to, make sure I have enough slurry for the whole field, so I don't have to worry about it. So this is what happens when you don't have enough slurry or liquid manure or whatever it happens to be. So I have the course selected, I have it generated, and let's go ahead and set him on his way. So he is in fieldwork mode, so he's not going to work properly. So let's make sure he's in fertilizing and seeding mode. So that's this right here. You'll notice that it says fertilizing and seeding right down there. Let's go ahead and set him to drive. So all we've done is generate the course. That's it. So he's going to open up his slurry, his arms right here for this particular slurry spreader. And what's going to happen is he's going to start on his merry way. But he's not going to have enough to do the whole field. So you see how it starts using slurry right away. And there we go. Looks pretty good. Oh, wait a minute. He's already out of slurry. So what happens here? He's going to close his arms first of the slurry tanker, and then he is going to return to the first point. So he's going to, or is it maybe the end point, I can't remember. Okay, so he's going to go right to the very last point, and let's see what happens. Is anything going to happen? No. So that's what happens when you don't have enough fertilizer in the vehicle. So because of that, you need to add a second part. So let's go ahead and save this as fertilizer 38. Let's say that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to record the filling course. So all we've done so far is generated the fertilization course. Now I'm going to go ahead and record the filling of the manure or slurry, whatever you want, wherever it happens to be. This functions in any scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and start recording the course right here because that's the endpoint, and he'll go to the endpoint. So I'll give him a clear path to this area right here. So there's 2 eggs, which is what you want to look out for always when you're making a course. It really helps a lot. Alright, so I'm going to drive here, and what I like to do is I like to make sure I hit the trigger point. So I'm going to keep this window open, and I'm going to look out for the time when it says refill slurry. So there we go. So I'm just going to refill it now just for demonstration purposes. So what will happen is it'll refill here. So I want to make sure I hit that refill point, and then I'm going to drive past it. Generally it's a good idea to drive straight past the slurry point or the trigger point. It really depends on the scenario. But that's just the way it goes. Alright, so this is the fill course now. So I'm going to stop the course here. So that's my fill course. So I'm going to call that F38, which is the field, or 38 is the field number, fill, let's call it slurry. So what you want to do now is you want to load your fertilization course first, then load your slurry course second. And then I'm going to set him on his way to the first waypoint again. Now what should happen in this scenario is it should start fertilization and then go to the end point. So let's go ahead and line him up properly here. So what's going to happen is, let's take a nice little easy turn here. So set him on his way, so he's going to go to the first point once again, because that's how we set it up. And he's going to open up the arms, and as soon as his arms are opened up, he's going to start fertilization. Alright. So what's going to happen here is he's opening up the arms, he's going to start fertilizing, and once he's done, he will go to the end point, because we set it that way when we generated the course. If you set it to return to first point, it will return here and then go to your fill course. But I set it so it stops at the end and then hits the fill course. So what's going to happen here, let's close the arms again. I really should have picked a different slurry tanker, but this one's big and nice. So now it's going to go to the very last point of the course once again. And then what will happen is it'll go to the first point of your fill course. So if you want to be really fancy, you can start your fill course right here. But in this case, it doesn't make a big difference. So this is what happens sometimes if you don't set something up. So it's going really, really slow to your fill course. So what you want to do if you have that problem is go into the speed limits, set it to maximum speed, and the maximum street speed's 31 miles an hour. So then it'll drive really fast through its fill course. So if you do what I did there, and there's a gap between where the fill course is and where the last point is, that's what you want to make sure you do, so it does not take forever. So what's going to happen now, it's going to drive over to your fill point, or your trigger, for fertilization. And see right here, it's loading fertilizer. As you can see, it's loading fertilizer right here, or in this case, slurry, into the tanker. And then it's going to completely fill this tanker up. So what happens if there isn't enough slurry, or liquid manure in this case? What will happen is it'll just stop here and wait for there to be more. So if that does happen, what you can do is just hit the drive now button, and then it'll drive on basically. But in this case, there is enough here, so I'm going to go ahead and refill completely, because why not? Alright, so he's going to go ahead and fill up. And once he's done, he's going to drive forward, like so. So he's going to continue on the path that you drove earlier for the fill course. So he's going to turn left here, and then he's going to turn right over here, and then he'll go to the very first point of the course, of the fertilization course, and then he'll continue on. So that's the last point there, so he's going to go to the last part he stopped off in the course here, which is right here, as you can see. So that's the last point he'll stop at, and then he'll straighten out, and what should happen is he should open up the arms here. So I don't know what happened there, probably was driving too fast, but so he's going to open up the arms here, and then he's going to continue driving along his way. So this tractor, I guess, was a bit of a bad choice, but so that's what will happen. It'll continue on its course, and then he'll do that all along the field. And as you noted, he didn't stop where he left. He didn't stop where he left off. I think it's only because where the starting point is, it's up here, and he didn't get very far, and that's part of the reason why I did that as well. So just to let you know. And sometimes it'll be because you have the street speed set really high. So if you want him to drive slowly and be a bit more careful, you can set it at a lower street speed, and that should be fine. So right now we have him set to 6 miles an hour, and you can increase that if you'd like to however fast you want it to go. It will use liquid manure quicker. So there you have it. That is how you use Courseplay to fertilize your field with slurry.